I'm in beautiful Buenos Aires, Argentina. I've been adventuring hard in Patagonia for the last week. I'm flying home tonight, so I've just been sitting on the balcony of my Holiday Inn hotel room, stretching and getting ready for my flight. And I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity to share with you the clothing and gear that failed me in the brutal, cold, wet, windy, snowy Patagonian weather, and the clothing and gear that performed really well. Let's talk about the gear fails first. Number one, my Mountain Hardwear Stretch Ozonic Shell. Now, this is kind of a stretchy rain jacket, wind blocker kind of type shell. I've had it for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years. It's been great at stopping the water and keeping me warm and dry on all sorts of adventures, from Iceland to Kilimanjaro. I've worn this jacket on summit night climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, but it did not do a very good job in Patagonia. We had a lot of rain, we had a lot of wet snow, and even though I washed this jacket and treated it with Nick Wax just a few days before I left to come to Argentina, it completely soaked through every time it rained or snowed on us. So I am looking to upgrade my rain jacket. I have had horrible luck with rain jackets lately, and I think it's time for me to finally invest a couple $100s into a really, really good, high quality, expensive rain jacket. So if you have a recommendation, drop it in the comments below. Next up, my Farm to Feet socks. I love these socks. I've had them for many years, probably 5 years, but the cushion finally started to wear out on these socks, and one of them got a hole in it. When I went to put the sock on, I heard this noise and the sock ripped and the cushion started to wear. So I actually was starting to get some rubbing on my heels. So I actually just threw my Farm to Feet socks in the garbage can when I left El Calafate before I flew here to Buenos Aires yesterday. Next up, and I'm really sad about this, but my La Sportiva hiking boots. They've summited Mount Kilimanjaro twice. They've completed the Salcantay Trail in Peru. They've been on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails in the Rocky Mountains, trails in Alaska, trails in Yellowstone, trails all over the world. Before I climbed Kilimanjaro, the sole was ripping off the boot, and I thought the boot wouldn't make it through my Kilimanjaro climb, but these boots made it through my Kilimanjaro climb. But once we got into Patagonia with the wet trail conditions, the glue that I used to resole the boot just started to come undone. So I discarded my beloved La Sportiva hiking boots and left them in Patagonia. And it's really hard to part with a pair of hiking boots that have been with you for many miles and done such a good job keeping your feet safe, protected, comfortable, and it's tragic. But I do have a pair of Scarpa hiking boots at home that it's time for me to break in and learn to love before I start next summer's adventures on the West Highland Way, Tour de Mont Blanc, and back to Kilimanjaro. Now, there was some gear and clothing that I tried out in Patagonia. The first up is this hair tie. You'll see it back there. It's called the rip tie, hair tie, or something like that. But basically, it's a rubber band and then a stretchy cord and then another rubber band. So the goal is to put your hair back in a ponytail, wrap the cord around, tie it up at the end, and then you have a nice, cute braid-like thing that's not really a braid, but it keeps your hair back. You know how sometimes if you have layers in your hair and you braid it, the hair can kind of come out of the braid or whatever. Anyway, I saw an ad for the rip tie hair ties. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cute, so I got one. And I like it, but I found that it loosens up over time. So I don't know if I've quite mastered how to use it, but it's kind of fun to try. And there was another product that I was going to try on this trip, but I actually didn't even bring it. It was the Scott E travel vest. I got this vest because there's a YouTuber that I like who recommends this vest all the time. It's basically a vest that has a bunch of different pockets for your passport, your phone, your wallet, your keys. It can even hold like your iPad or whatever. But I went to put this vest on to come on this trip the morning before I flew out, and I couldn't even wear it. It was just too dorky looking with this silly piping around the neck. And then I put it on and I loaded it up with my stuff, and it was really heavy. And I thought, I'm only going to wear this vest when I'm flying, and it's not going to be comfortable on the airplane because there's too many zippers and it's really, really heavy. So I thought it just wasn't worth the weight of carrying this extra heavy vest with me. But maybe if I'm going on a trip that involves a lot of public transportation, trains, taxis, airplanes, that might be an adventure that's better suited for a vest like that. So the Scotty vest, I bought it for this trip and it didn't even come on the trip with me. Okay, let's talk about some products that I really enjoyed on this trip. The first is this epic water bottle with a filter. There's a filter in there. I've been using this to just drink tap water. Some people don't drink the tap water in Argentina when they travel. Some people do drink the tap water in Argentina. I have a really sensitive stomach. So this has been a great alternative for traveling instead of buying plastic water bottles and spending the money on bottled water and contributing to waste. It was nice to be able to just fill my water up wherever I was, river, stream, hotel bathroom, and know that the water that I'm drinking is safe and clean. And one of my biggest issues with travel type water filters is that you have to suck really hard to get the water out. But this bottle, you don't really have to suck that much more than usual. So it doesn't suck. It's actually a great water filter. And I'm probably going to go home and buy one of these for my husband and both of my kids for our international travels, just so that I know we're always drinking safe water. Another product that really shined for me on this trip was my North Face jacket. This is just a synthetic puffy jacket. It dries really quickly, quicker than down. It's just easy slip on, slip off like a hoodie. Very comfortable, very warm. That was a winner, as well as my North Face Summit Series tops, which is just like a very lightweight fleece. I have a pullover and a jacket that I wore. And then all things wool. I'm wearing what's this one? REI. I think this is an REI merino wool top. I also brought a Smart Wool merino top and a merino wool top from Icebreaker. I've been experimenting with wool this summer and fall. I also wore wool on Kilimanjaro, and it's wonderful to travel with because I can wear this shirt hiking, and I'm also going to wear it on the plane in just a few hours. And wool is great because it doesn't stink. Like my armpits will get stinky, but I'm definitely addicted to merino wool. I will say that this is the REI merino wool shirt, and it's my least favorite because it gets a little bit itchy. The Smart Wool merino wool top and the Icebreaker, not itchy at all. I wore the Icebreaker merino wool top on all of our big hikes. I just really enjoyed how smooth it was, that it wasn't itchy, and I liked the fit of it. Merino wool, it's worth every penny. But maybe don't buy the REI one. Spend a little more money to get Smart Wool merino wool top or the Icebreaker merino wool top. As always, my Smith Venture sunglasses really stood up to the test, especially when we were hiking through the snow, when we were on our glacier trek, and one day when we hiked down to a beautiful lake. I loved the side protection just to keep wind blowing snow out of my eyes. The conditions were pretty rough, and my eyes were really well protected on all of our hikes, more so than they are right now. But I also travel with my Gooder sunglasses because they're super cheap. So if they get lost, broken, or stolen, it's no big deal. And I don't like to have my Venture glasses when I'm not out on a hike. So it's good to take the Venture glasses and then like a cheaper pair of sunglasses that you can just wear when you're out and about if you don't want to look like a dorky mountain climber. And finally, the hero of this trip was actually my New Moo dress. I like New Moo dresses a lot because you can dress them up with a pair of leggings and boots and a cute sweater. You can just dress them down, whatever. But we had a few days in Buenos Aires on either end of the trip, and it was nice to get out of hiking clothes and put something a little bit nicer on. So New Moo dresses, they're super fun. They're kind of like my winter uniform. I love New Moo dresses with leggings and boots and a sweater. They're nice, packable, portable dresses that you can wear hiking or to a fancy tango show. So New Moo dresses, I've been a fan for like a decade and I'm still a fan. Now, there are a few things that I wish I would have packed for this trip. First thing is my poncho. I have this ugly yellow poncho that I take hiking all the time. And for some reason, when I was packing for Patagonia, I was like, I have my raincoats, I have my rain pants, I have my jacket. I'll be totally fine. But I wish I would have had a little bit extra rain protection I knew it was going to be rainy when I was packing, and I don't know why I left that thing out, but I did, and that was a bad move. Next, I completely forgot to bring a buff, and I wish I would have had a buff to put my hair back or to put around my neck on days when it was a little bit chilly. I don't know, once again, why I forgot my buff, but usually that's part of my standard hiking list. Completely forgot it. And finally, I wish I would have had waterproof gloves or mittens. I just brought my typical Hestra leather palmed cross-country ski gloves. They're lightweight. I knew the temperatures weren't going to be too cold, but I knew it was going to be wet. And these gloves on our ice trek soaked up the water like a sponge. And we were required to wear gloves because if we fall, they didn't want us to get road rash on our hands. They made us wear gloves on this ice trek. And because my gloves got so wet, the air temperature wasn't actually that cold. So I thought if I could just take my gloves off, my hands would be warm. But I wasn't allowed to take my gloves off. So instead, I had to wear these frozen, soaking wet gloves for 3 hours. And it was just miserable. So if you're coming to Patagonia, you're going to do a glacier ice trek, invest in some waterproof gloves or mittens that you can wear, because you're not going to be able to take wet gloves and mittens off, even if your hands are super, super duper cold. So anyway, those are my thoughts on clothing, gear, what you need to bring when you're traveling to Patagonia. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.